I'm Amanda Leitner, and welcome to Rochester Rising, where we amplify the stories of entrepreneurs in Rochester, Minnesota. Welcome to podcast episode 235. Thank you so much for deciding to spend time with us today to learn more about small business and the culture of entrepreneurship in Rochester, Minnesota. We hope that you learned something today from entrepreneurs themselves that can help with your own entrepreneurial journey. We release a podcast each Wednesday at Rochester Rising. You can find the podcast on our website or wherever you like to listen into your podcasts, including on YouTube. We also have a ton of articles and videos that we've created over the years telling the stories of both new and very experienced business owners, and you can find all of that on our website at rochesterrising.org. Rochester Rising is a part of Collider, a Rochester, Minnesota-based nonprofit that activates, connects, and empowers early-stage entrepreneurs in our community. You can learn more about Collider and how this organization can help accelerate and assist your entrepreneurial journey at collider.mn. We launched this podcast and Rochester Rising as a whole in 2016 to tell stories of entrepreneurship taking place within the city of Rochester, Minnesota, especially stories that otherwise would have gone untold. And we really take the time to understand each entrepreneur and what their experience has been like in the community. If you find value in this podcast, if you find that you learn something each time you listen in, please consider donating. If you can, we have a tip jar that you could donate to help us keep telling these stories for the community. We use the local business for giving for our fundraising efforts. You can find more info about our tip jar and how to donate through For Giving in the button in our show notes. So for the next few weeks, we're taking a break from airing new interviews to revisit some of our most popular podcasts over the 5 years of Rochester Rising. This week, we tune back in to episode 8, which aired on September 7th, 2016, where I got to chat with serial entrepreneurs Jim and Philip Conway, who currently serve as president and vice president of production technologies at Minnesota Medical Technologies in Stewartville, Minnesota. Jim and Philip are brothers from a family with deep entrepreneurial roots. Their brother, Peter, founded Arcon Furniture, which is also located in Stewartville. Minnesota Medical Technologies provides a solution for fecal incontinence, which is a massive global problem. The brothers co-founded Arcon Corporation in 1979 and later founded Rochester Medical Corp in 1989. Rochester Medical Corporation began by selling silicone folding catheters and silicone male external catheters and was sold in 2013. The Conway brothers broke ground with their latest business, Minnesota Medical Technologies, and the Schumann Business Park in Stewartville, Minnesota, in October 2015. So we have a great conversation to share with you today, one of the very first that I ever recorded. So stay tuned for this great conversation with these brothers and serial entrepreneurs. But before we launch into today's podcast, we just wanted to acknowledge our sponsor, Clifton Larson Allen. The team at CLA would love to get to know you, learn about your vision, and see if they can help. CLA is a full-service CPA firm with over 100 offices nationally, including right here in Rochester. They do taxes and audits, but they also focus on helping startups refine their vision, build budgets, work with banks and investors, and track and organize their accounting. They're deeply experienced at building the business systems that allow you to focus on what you are doing best, getting product market fit, growing sales, hiring talent, and creating a thriving enterprise. Contact Todd Churchill at todd.churchill@claconnect.com or give him a call at 507-280-2317. All right, so with that, we'll launch into the podcast with Jim and Philip Conway of Minnesota Medical Technologies. So maybe to start, we should talk about what is Minnesota Medical Technologies and what types of products are you producing here?
Minnesota Medical is totally focused on providing a solution for the very difficult problem of fecal incontinence. Sometimes it's known as bowel incontinence, but it's leakage. Mm-hmm. It's a problem that people are embarrassed about, so they don't talk about it. But as soon as you talk to people about it, everybody knows about
Right.
somebody, whether it be parents, grandparents themselves, or whatever. And it's a huge global problem. We believe that the few products that are offered to help manage it are inadequate, I would say at best. Mm-hmm. And we believe that we've got a technology here that will be very easy to use. It will allow people to regain their life's activity. There are many, many people that live at home with the problem, and they stop doing things. Unlike urinary incontinence, the fecal incontinence also has odor issues. So people don't want to go anywhere. Mm-hmm. And maybe they quit going to the bridge club or playing bridge. They stop going out for groceries.
So it basically disrupts your whole lifestyle.
Just disrupts their entire lifestyle. And then in long-term care centers, approximately 50% of the people there have the issue. Mm-hmm. And it becomes a very difficult issue for care for employees. And because these people are not very mobile, it causes all kinds of health issues, many skin issues, infection issues, bed sore issues, all of this type of thing. And we believe our product line is going to be a great one to be used in care centers as well as for people at home. So we actually started doing research on this when we sold Rochester Medical, and that we had specialized in urinary incontinence there. When we sold that company, we actually have a non-compete in that particular field, so we decided to turn our thoughts to the fecal incontinence that we knew was an even bigger issue, actually. So that was it was November of 13. Yeah, you're exactly right. And since we were in Stewartville and love it here, love the business climate, the city people are extremely helpful. If they can go out of their way to get you information, they will. If they can provide some kind of support for programs that are available, they're very interested in doing that. And it's just easy to work with. You can just go down and talk to them.
Yeah,
so,
that's always what you want.
We came to Stewartville in the early 80s. My brother Peter has Arcon Corporation here, and he's the one that recommended coming here. And after we came to Stewartville, we just were shocked at how wonderful the city is and the city fathers with business and how they behave with business. So we've basically been here since the early 80s. We, after selling Arcon, we did go to Rochester for 2 years in research, and after developing those products, we started Rochester Medical Corp, which Stewartville immediately contacted us to build back in Stewartville again, and sold us a lot in the industrial park for $1. So that's how Rochester Medical ended up back in Stewartville, yes, after Arcon. So, and it's so seldom that you can actually say, you always hear that, the old cliches, hi, I'm for the government, I'm here to help, and things.
Right.
In Stewartville, it is true. They are here to help, and they have done a wonderful job for us, and we greatly appreciate it.
You recently built this new facility, Minnesota Medical Technologies, in Schumann Business Park. Was that like October 2015, 2014?
We started this last winter. Yeah. So this was in 15, and we built this through the winter. And we ended up in the Schumann Industrial Park because the rest of the Stewartville industrial parks were basically filled.
Okay.
So they've started the new park out here, which is, part of Stewartville, but it's the new park. And we really wanted to stay in Stewartville. We love the people, the employees, everything about Stewartville, the location, Interstate 90, the airport. It's a fantastic place to be.
And it's a nice little commute for us, going back
Right.
and forth.
Yeah.
So
We live over by Chatfield, both of us.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
it worked
that's
really
not-
well. So we picked up here with options on more land here to expand. So
Excellent. Yeah, it seems a pretty convenient location. I mean, you have the airport
Yes.
right there. You have all the major interstates. You're kind of out of a lot of high traffic, congested areas, so you
Yeah,
can just operate.
absolutely,
You know,
absolutely.
sew and ship and all those kind of things. So maybe we can talk about your entrepreneurial journey then. So you started with Arcon, then Rochester Medical, BCG Technologies. Do you want to kind of walk through that progression and how that happened?
It actually happened. Our oldest brother, Christopher, started Mentor Corporation. He was the founder of Mentor Corporation up in the Twin Cities, which was a medical device corporation. Became a very large one. They specialized in many urinary products. Also, I think they were the largest breast implant maker and marketer as well. That company grew to, I think it was $2 billion market cap or something like that. And I worked at IBM for the first 12 years after I got out of school. And our oldest brother, Christopher, was having difficulty sourcing some products that he needed making. And so we said, well, we think we could make that product. And we went and studied up on it. And he said if we could make it, he'd give us an order. And that's how Arcon started. We started making that product. And then we did a lot of further development. And we actually invented quite a few products that were all sold through Mentor Corporation. Arcon was the manufacturer, and we'd ship them to Mentor, and Mentor would sell them all over the world. And then we looked, Arcon was growing, and we actually looked at maybe taking that public. And Mentor made us an offer that we couldn't refuse. They didn't want us to go public and compete.
Right.
And so in 1979, we actually sold Arcon to Mentor with the agreement that that was 19.
Oh, it was 83 or 4.
It was 85. I'm sorry. We sold it in 85, and agreed to stay on with Mentor for 3 years and help them merge the companies together. And we did that. But we were getting antsy then after those 3 years, and we set up a research lab in Rochester, and which became the birth, as Philip said, of Rochester Medical. So, but kind of older brother Chris was the entrepreneurial pathfinder, if you will, and we all kind of followed in those shoes. Yeah.
Rochester Medical was pretty successful, right? So that actually got bought out as well. So what did you make it Rochester Medical?
We started out with silicone Foley catheters and silicone male external catheters, and we expanded on that product line. We ended up with an entire line of what are called intermittent catheters. And then we had all the accessories to go with them, whether they're leg bags and bed bags and all of this kind of thing. I think by the time we sold it, I think we had like 70 line items that we sold. And
Yeah, and we're in 76 or 78 countries.
78 countries. And,
Okay.
And
we had a workforce around the globe of 450 people.
Oh, wow.
So
we own facilities in Great Britain and then also in
Netherlands as
the
well.
Netherlands. So
Yeah.
that was-
Sold all over Europe. It was going very, very well, extremely well. And C.R. Bard was actually one of our customers in the UK. And of course, they were in this market in a big way, and they liked our products very much, and they made us a great offer, you know. So it was a chance for we were public, we traded on NASDAQ.
Okay.
And it was a chance for our shareholders to, you know, come out nicely from their investment. And when you're public, that's what it's all about.
Right.
I mean, you know. Well, you know, they fund the company.
Right.
You know, without the investor, you can't move that quickly. You really can't. So it was a great opportunity, and we were ready for a new challenge. Yeah.
How long were you were at Rochester Medical for its entirety, but how long did Rochester Medical operate for in your hands?
It's
1989 is when it really got going, and then
Yeah.
we sold it in 2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's like you said, it kind of allowed you to move on to the next thing.
Next phase, and you know, that's part of the adventure. And you know, you're going through the same thing right now.
Right.
You don't know where you don't know where you're going exactly. Well,
trying to figure it out that's the thing. You always have to be, you know,
you get a little rush out of that.
That's fun.
Oh, you do.
Yeah,
it
you
is. So I guess the big question is, why do you enjoy doing this? Why do you want to continue to do this adventurous route instead of, you know, continuing to work at IBM or going into, I don't know, working for some medical device manufacturer? Why start and run your own businesses throughout your careers?
It's a combination of many things. It's the excitement, the thrill, the possibility of making you know, a great deal of money.
Yeah.
There's no denying that. But it's also a big deal about helping people. You hear about that, and everybody always says, "Well, yeah." But when you actually get the phone call from someone, how you changed their life, it does have an impact on you and how you feel about things. And we've had calls, each of us have, where people have called us, and how this product has totally changed their life, and that's kind of a big deal. And,
it is a big deal.
You get a little bit of a high off that too, actually.
Yeah.
You feel good about it.
Yeah, I agree. You have to keep the bigger picture in mind, right? Who
You
are the
do.
customers and how
You've
they're...
got you're gambling here. You're gambling with, you know, some of your own money. Other people, you're gambling, you know, whether the products. And when it's successful, it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. Another big thing is we like to try and invent things.
Right.
And you know, we've had some good luck that way over the years. We've got a great team here that works together well. We bounce ideas off each other, and
How many patents have we done over the years?
among us, we've got the few people that are here. We've got over 50 patents, and that's fun.
Yeah.
You know, try to come up with something new, and every once in a while you get kind of a glimmer of a thought or a discovery, sometimes totally by accident. We sure know that.
Yes, you do.
Yes, we do. You'd be playing with something in the lab, and something behaves totally different than what you would expect, and you go, aha. So that's a big part of it, too, is just trying to come up with something new.
I agree. That's the fun part. That's the fun part. Always, you know, figuring out a different way to do things or a different angle to approach something.
Something a little better.
Yeah, even with what we're doing, you know, it's not on the same level. We're not inventing a medical device, but it's a different way to approach a problem that we saw.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yeah, no.
Right.
That's
what it's
what
all
we're
about.
doing is not rocket science either, but, you know, small things can make a huge difference.
Right.
And that's the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
When you flip this other side, like we're talking the fecal incontinence, and you realize that's the number one reason for people being put in nursing homes.
Yeah.
When they lose control at home, people are like, we can't take this anymore. We're, you know, it's a very difficult thing. And it's also in nursing homes the number one reason for employee turnover.
Yeah.
Really.
Yes, people said, I didn't sign up for cleaning this up 3 to 5 hours a day. You know, and they're out of here. They said this, you know, it's a terrible thing and it's a mess. And if there's things that you can do to make those lives easier and better, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So, but you want to start with that patient, that you give them something that's very comfortable. Mm-hmm. You have to, we try to think out of the box, where what we want to come up with is, technically something you'd use yourself should you need it.
Right.
So,
right.
So that's the approach we take.
So, what have you found to be essential to be a successful entrepreneur or a successful business owner? Because you've both grown companies from a couple people to, large entities, like you were saying with Rochester Medical. So, what have you learned?
I know the answer to that. For me, this is the answer. I think the one thing that you have to be able to do is recognize other people's talent and allow them to run with it. It's all about having good people. Mm-hmm. If you've got good people, you can get to where you want to go. And I know that sounds trite, and cliche, but it's the truth.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think it's always the team, not so much the product. If you believe in the person, then they'll make it work. Yeah,
and we've always been able to get employees involved, and they want to be involved. And everybody likes to know what's going on. Everybody wants to be a part of what's going on. And I think that more than anything else, that's what makes the difference. I really do.
We've always had the whole philosophy with the office up here. You've got the wall between the office and the manufacturing. And Jim's always pushed the hardest on this, is to make sure that we tear down that wall. When someone in manufacturing wants to know what's going on with the company and everything, instead of telling them, don't worry about that, your job's out here, whatever, it's the opposite. Jim wants to take these people, involve them, tell them what we're doing, what the plans are, what's going on. They're part of it. Get them excited, get them pumped up. They're part of the team. And you do not exclude because there's a wall there. And that's been a huge key for us, we think.
Mm-hmm. No, I think
and people really try harder when they realize the importance of the product. If someone's on the production line and doesn't really understand everything about the use of what they're making and why the quality needs to be so good, then they're not as focused. And if they get it, well, then they are. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think anybody, when they see the impact that they have and the bigger picture and that they get a say,
absolutely,
and they make a difference, it makes a huge difference.
Instead of feeling like you're just a cog somewhere,
right.
Then,
cog in the wheel. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
IBM, when I worked there, it was kind of interesting. Of course, that was just a giant company, mm-hmm. and it was a lot. Even in Rochester, it was much, much bigger then. Even in the local part. But they had a management philosophy that they taught religiously to all the managers that they call their open door policy. Anybody in the company could go and talk to their manager, and then if they wanted to, they could go to that person's manager's manager. And if they wanted to go all the way up the line, they were allowed to do that without, punishment or mm-hmm. anything like that.
The transparency and open doors.
Yeah, open doors. It's important.
Big thanks to Jim and Philip for sharing their story. You can learn more about Minnesota Medical Technologies by checking out the links in our show notes. And thank you so much for tuning into the podcast today. If you know an entrepreneur that would benefit from the conversation we shared, please share this podcast with them. Let them know the podcast exists so that they can benefit and learn from the experience of other business owners in this community. That is a wrap for us at the podcast today. Thank you so much for spending some of your time with us to learn more about entrepreneurs and small businesses in Rochester, Minnesota. Before you leave us today, please make sure you're subscribed wherever you listen in. And if you enjoyed this conversation, please consider rating us wherever you're listening in so that others can find the podcast. We'll see you next Wednesday with our next episode.